All right, good morning guys. It's Nick with NK Landscaping, again as usual. If you're watching this video, this is part 3 of a series of building this big project. So if you want to watch part 1, that's going to be right here, and part 2 will be right here. So check those out if you haven't already. You're going to want to see this one. This is where we finish everything up, and I think it looks great at the end. So let's do it. Paver laying has begun. So Kurt got a couple set in the corner. I got it as close as I could with the vacuum. I can't reach all the way into that corner from where I am, but he's now setting it. It's looking really good. So I got a couple halves cut for him. We got the generator, the paver saw, and then the paver vacuum. I now moved the pallet much closer, so I should be able to pick him up and swing him right over to him. But that's looking good. That's going to look so nice when it's all pavers. Alright guys, welcome to day 8. It's time to lay. We're going to get this thing finished up today and then start working on that step over there. That's going to be fun. Kurt's got a ton of cuts ready for me, so I'm going to get started on that. I just greased the machine and he's getting things laid out and ready for what's to come. So let's get to it. so all the pavers are in place, all the cuts have been made, and it looks really nice. We test fit our bluestone pieces, and they look good. So what we need to do, this first bluestone piece is going to sit fully supported on Concord blocks, so that's not a worry. But the problem is, the second step has a huge void in the middle. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to put 2 Concord blocks in, it might even be more than 2, but in the window well, and they're going to provide a bridge, and then we'll just get that to the right height so the top block matches the height of these, and there will be 2 blocks sitting in there to bridge the middle, so that'll be more than enough basically filler to support that step. So Kurt's just making sure all those are level. We'll get those 2 Concord blocks installed in the middle, and then apply a bunch of glue, and these will get glued right down, and it'll look really nice. All right, good morning guys, we're back, new week. I think it's day 9, I've kind of lost track. I don't know where we're at, I think it's something like that. It rained all weekend, so it's kind of like a muddy mess. The guys are here working in the back on the heat pumps, so we cannot work back there right now. So we're gonna work out front here. The contractor came, took the stairs off for us, but to install the walkway, we need to do the drainage. There's gonna be a gutter downspout here for this roof, and one in the corner for the roof above it. So we're gonna start, excavate that. It's gonna run right under our stoop, so we're gonna switch over to SDR right there, and then it's gonna tie into our system over there that we still have kind of open. So we're gonna get that dug, all backfilled, and then we can start the excavation of our walkway, start getting that prepped. Let's do it. I gotta shuffle some things around first here though. So one thing we had to be mindful of in here is there is cable going into the house there and electrical. So we've been just scraping away. I call it just pawing. I take maybe an inch every time, and you can see right there, we've got a little orange cable. It's the same orange cable that comes up in that corner right there. So we found that with no damage. So now I can keep digging back, and we're actually at the right grade. Luckily that's deep enough where our slope is still coming towards us. So it's working out good. I'm real happy with that. Kurt was able to locate that the second I kind of grazed over it, and we're gonna keep on working back. All right, so we got our trench dug. Kurt's getting the triple wall installed. So all this is outside of the bounds of the walkway. Once we get here, There's going to be a 6-foot by 9-foot stoop. That's all going to be done in SDR since we are going to have to compact this area so much. We don't want to have to worry about the triple wall crushing. We see it's fine in the lawns. I know a lot of people always have problems with not using triple wall or not using SDR for drainage. I think it's overkill in most aspects unless you're going to be putting a load on it. And everything in there, that's just garden space, so no one's going to be driving a car in there. And then on the side of the house, we kept it close enough to the house that you don't need to drive over the triple wall section. So we had a couple adapters and everything put in place here, and then we're going to start backfilling with the Rotostar just so we have a nice clean bedding layer, so we're not putting big rocks and stones and junk up against these pipes. But got a little bit of work to do here on the pipes. Everything was shot with the laser, so it is all moving downhill to the existing gutter drain that we put in last week. So looking good. 4 gutters will tie in here, 2 here, and 2 over there. Yeah, let's get to it. Just like that, we have a backfilled trench. I kind of just bucket compacted it over here, and then everything from the stoop over to the stairs I left because we're going to have a lot of extra excavation material, so I'll be using that to fill in areas. We're getting everything laid out now. Kurt's getting looking at our measurements to make sure everything's on par. We are 3 feet off of the porch edge, and then we have a 4-foot wide walkway. So by the time that stair is in place, we're actually 1 foot off of that. So it's going to come this way, and then we have a 9-foot wide, 6-foot deep stoop with at least 1 step. We may add a 2nd step depending on grade. So all this still needs to get compacted and excavated. So that's going to be our next step here. But all the drainage is in place now. No more drainage needs to go in. We just did a bunch of complex mathematical equations because we have a couple different things going on right here. We have a slope from that step to the base of this step, and that needs to be set at the perfect height for that step. So we've got a slope coming from here to here, then it goes flat, and then we have another slope going from here uphill to the window that the stoop is going to be on. The stoop is going to be on a different grade than the pavers because the pavers are sloped, stoop is not. So we just did all that math, figured everything out. This is going to be the first part of our dig. Where the compactors are has already been dug. We're going to dig this. Then we will reset the laser for our new slope from that line to the edge of the stoop pad. It's kind of fun, kind of crazy. You just got to sit down on the driveway. We laid out our stairs so we could actually measure them in physical, put a tape measure on the block. And we've got all of our heights set the way we need it. Now it's time to dig it. This section is dug. Kurt is digging up the septic line, so that's something we knew that would be there. We actually saw it in the corner of the house. It is like 10 inches underground, kind of crazy. This hump is the septic tank, if you didn't know. Our pavers are just going to be a little bit below it. We can't really come above it because then we'll be above the deck, and you don't want that underground. So we're going to grade that out and make it look a little better. Maybe we'll do some planters or something. But this section from our Ready Rock stairs to the corner of the screened-in porch is dug to grade. It still needs compaction and everything. So now from the corner of this porch to the far corner of that entrance bump out, we need a new slope. So we're going to dial that in, get this section dug, and then we can compact everything and start getting gravel in here. Alright, good morning guys. We're back for another day. I think it's day 10. I've really lost count. We brought in a load of 3/4 this morning just to top off our stock. We're definitely going to need it. Not so much for this area. I think we had enough just to do this, but we got to build that stoop section and we need to fill the inside with gravel. So Kurt's setting up the laser for this second slope that we need to take care of. So that's going to cover the septic pipe, and that'll be where the stairs to the deck sit on. So I'm gonna go bring in a load of stone and start grading it out with the machine. We'll get all that in and compacted, and then we can start laying pavers. Quarter-inch is going in, getting screeded out. So from here basically to this side of that step is going to be at one slope, so that's why we have these rods all set the way they are. So Kurt's getting that screeded out. This paver is going to get laid in the same orientation as those down there, with the longer part running left to right. So that means every other layer of pavers needs a half cut, actually 2 half cuts. So I'm going to fire up the saw right now, start making some half cuts. Kurt's already got a bunch marked out for me, so I'll set this up, cut through those, then we can start laying. Then once we hit where that stair is, we have to make a slight grade adjustment, just because that stair wants to sit level, not on a slope. So we're going to still slope it just a little bit, but a much less aggressive slope, and then we'll dial it in from there to over there, which has more aggressive slope. All right, good morning guys. Back on site this morning. I didn't get any footage yesterday because we were in a rush to get to a meeting, but the walkway is fully laid out to the end, and we're going to start the installation of the stoop today. Before we left yesterday, we went around back and we got the back patio all done, so it is polyed and permud and complete. It just needs backfill. So I got an extra pallet of stone in the trailer today, more Concord for the stoop here, so I'm going to get that unloaded. Kurt's going to work on a nice diagram for us, and we'll get to work. Stoop is built except for the pavers. Everything just got glued, or at least the top course. The bottom was glued earlier. We got to do a little bit of filler piece for the walkway here just to bring it out to the edge. Otherwise, that looks good. And tomorrow, weather dependent, it's supposed to rain the rest of the week. We can get the pavers in there. We ran out a 1/4 inch, so we're gonna have to get some of that. But it's starting to come together. Looking good. So we're both tired. So we got to go to a meeting. And like I said, weather dependent. We'll be back here tomorrow. I'm just making sure all my windows are shut. But see you then. Alright guys, we showed up this morning and we got this stoop built. And then I just went and washed off everything because it rained last night and this whole job site is just a disgusting muddy mess. But that's built. Everything's washed off, so we're going to wait for it to dry. Then we got to do perma edge and poly sand. So it's about lunchtime. We're going to go eat and then see what this looks like after eating. Should be able to get the perma done by then. But you can kind of see what we're going for. We still got to do a little bit of edge alignment, but otherwise it's looking good. I'm happy now we can walk completely off the mud. We can walk on all of the install that we made. And then this has to get perma'd. A little bit of perma mainly on the driveway edge here. There's no perma actually in the walkway. That'll get polyed as well. So it's coming along. So while we're waiting for all of that, the pavers to dry, this section's good. But we're going to wait and do it all in one shot. So we can poly, compact, and do all that in one go. This is something that hasn't been talked about yet. I don't think. But we're going to take each one of these bays and add a railroad tie on top. So every bay will get one taller, and then we're going to replace this whole top wall section because it's leaning. It's got this one little stubby dead man right on the end that doesn't really do anything. So we're going to pull that off, build a new 4-course wall with dead men going back under the deck. And that'll help with the grade adjustment on the side of the stairs. So we can do that, and in the meantime, everything else will kind of dry out. So we're going to work on that now. Kurt's just getting some tools. I want to get some plywood to lay out on the grass so we don't get all muddy, because we're trying to reduce that right now. All right, good morning, guys. This is the final week of this job. We're starting to do just the finishing touches now. And this morning we stopped and got a load of river rock. This is a 5-ton load of river rock. And that's going to be going in up by the walkway there. But just down the road, we had something go down. The trailer felt a little weird. The truck started pulling to the left, and I thought, feels like we got a flat tire. And no, that's not what happened. You see my ratchet strap there, and you can see that this wheel shifted back quite a bit. We broke a spring. This wheel was actually rubbing on the trailer here and on this wheel. So that's not good. Luckily, it was just like a mile down the street from the house here. So we're gonna get this dumped, and then I just called the trailer dealer. I just got to give them some sizes, but they have everything in stock. So luckily we were able to get all the weight out of here. But we should still be able to work today. We just got to get those parts later. Always something fun. So now I got the trailer up in the air. You can kind of see what's going on. So I have a strap pulling this axle forward because the front of the leaf spring here broke, causing this axle to push back. We got some tire damage here from where the tire hit into the trailer up here, and then the tires were actually rubbing on each other. That came back that far. Let me see if I can get in there better for you guys so you show you what exactly happened. Well, you can see the broken leaf right there is folded up and hitting the frame. So I was able to get the lower leaf section tucked back in this hanger, and then we have the axle pulled forward. It's still catching in the back on the slipper, so that's good. So I might throw another strap from the axle back just so it cannot move. And that'll be enough for us to get it home. Looks like the dealer has all the parts in stock, so we should be able to pick those up tonight. And we're going to be replacing all 4 packs of springs, as well as the U-bolts and these front bolts, because they usually get worn out. But that was a fun, unexpected maintenance task. But I'm glad we got the stone dumped, and now it's just the trailer on its own. So we're gonna get to work and then pick up his parts later. All right, good morning, guys. Today is the final day of this project. I'm really excited to show you guys the finished product. I've been slacking on filming the past couple of days just because it's been kind of crummy weather. We've been fighting to get this thing done on time. We're actually right on schedule, actually just a little bit earlier. Today's Thursday. The job was supposed to end yesterday, Wednesday, but we added on some additions. So being done on Thursday, 1 day extra for I think 3 additions. Not bad. Yesterday, we went ahead and we hauled the excavator out of there. So the only thing left on site is the skid steer, some extra pallets and stuff, and the enclosed trailer. So that's all going to be coming out today. And the only thing left to do is seed and straw. So let's get this thing unloaded. We'll head back over to the site. We're going to get seed and straw in, haul out some equipment, and then I'll fly the drone up and give you guys the final overview of everything we did on this job. Alright guys, how did you like that? I think that project turned out really good. The client's really happy. You can see those drone shots were filmed quite a bit later this season, so we went back, checked things out. Everything looked really good. Client just loved it. She's really happy. She had a whole ton of work done on that house, from painting, interior remodel, windows, HVAC, everything. So she's really happy, and so are we. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. How did it turn out? I'm really excited. I think that was a fun project. It got to use a lot of our expertise, from stairs to walls to stoops to walkways and stuff. It was awesome. I'm really happy with the finished project. So you may have noticed I took a little bit of a break there. A lot going on in life. Just trying to get things done, and YouTube was kind of pushed down a little bit. So I'm going to try to get back into it. I don't think I'm going to stick with the weekly videos. It's just a little too much at this point in time right now. But if you don't know, we have a second channel. You may notice the background from that if you are coming from there. So go check out NK Garage. That's going to be Kurt's channel. I'm behind the camera on that one. But that's going to have videos every week. A little easier to film tool stuff. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good rest of the day.